What is up, everyone? My name is Tim Williams. We're here to break down Friday, September 24th, 15-game MLB slate over on DraftKings. And like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games one by one, all 15 of them. We're going to talk hitting, we're going to talk pitching, we're going to talk stacks, all of that good stuff. I got to forewarn you here. We got 15 games on the slate, and it is not looking too pretty. So bear with me. These beginning games, we're probably gonna, we're gonna talk about it, but we might want to fade some of these early ones, talk about these later ones. So yeah, make sure you stick around for this whole video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this slate. To me, initially it's looking kind of ugly. So let's just jump right in here. Pirates taking on the Phillies. Yajure taking on Gibson. I might be mispronouncing his name there. Yajure, 7.5K. Seems a little risky here, right? He's only made 2 starts in the majors, given up 2 home runs in those starts. He's got to watch the walks here. The Phillies aren't the easiest team to take on. So I'm going to pass on him. Gibson, 7.9K. I think the price is actually pretty fair. He has a nice matchup against the Pirates. Gibson, I hope he gets some ownership here. I think he's in a good spot. I might fade him in some lineups, but I think he makes the player pool, right? Near 20% strikeout rate here. So nothing special. 8.5% walk rate. 52% ground ball rate. Really does a good job limiting these fly balls 20% of the time. Like I said, it's a good spot against the Pirates, but it is baseball. The Pirates do surprise people sometimes, but Gibson in general just doesn't give up too many home runs. If I had to take some bats on the Pirates, Moran at 4K, even Gamble at 3K, but honestly, I'm probably just going to be fading the Pirates. We have a lot of games, a lot of teams on this slate. So, and then on the other side with the Phillies, I mean, you can't go wrong with Harper at 6K, McCutchen at 3.8, Galvis. I don't mind a mini stack there, but it is early. We have a lot of games on the slate, so I might just fade this one completely. Next, we have the Rangers and the Orioles. Rangers have Howard and Anderson both on the mound, taking on Wells on the other side. I'm going to fade that kind of bullpen game for the Rangers. Wells at 5.1K, giving up a ton of home runs on this so far this season. 5.2% home run rate, 50% hard contact rate, 33.6% fly ball rate. Just a really low strikeout pitcher at 14%. Right-handed bats really does doing a good job making contact off of him. They're hitting 354 against Wells. So I am in on some of these Rangers bats here, right? They're priced up a little bit, right? Garcia at 4.7K, Ibanez at 4.4. I think you can make a case for those bats. However, the price isn't really too exciting. Peters, 2.7K, has some power upside. Jaime at catcher, kind of Falefa. I think they're in the mix. On the other side with the Orioles, Mountcastle at 4.4K. I think he's perfectly fine. Mullins, Mancini, Hayes. There's ways to kind of sneak some of these bats in there. They're playing in Baltimore. I like taking bats there. So I think I do have some interest in this game, but there's a couple other spots where I really want to attack. So next game here, we have the Reds taking on the Nationals. Sonny Gray on the mound taking on Espino. Gray 8.6K, 27.4% strikeout rate, 48% ground ball rate. Espino on the other side, 6.6K, 21.2% strikeout rate. Nothing special there. Has been kind of average this season. Doesn't really get a lot of ground balls, so not really too excited there. Taking on a Reds team that can just kind of go off at any time. Reds in general have been struggling against right-handed pitching lately. So I'm not really too into some of these Reds bats. Votto at 5.6 is nice, but he's really expensive. And then for Sonny Gray, I think he's in an okay spot. The Nationals don't really strike out a ton. So I think I'm going to stay away from Sonny Gray. I could see why you would play him, 27% strikeout rate. He has been fairly consistent, but yeah, this game might be another fade. Next one here, the Yankees taking on the Red Sox. You have Garrett Cole on the mound taking on Eovaldi. 10.8K for Cole. It is expensive, taking on one of the best teams in baseball here as far as the offense go, the Red Sox. Cole himself, 34% strikeout rate, 42% ground ball rate. He's just been elite all season long. Opponents hitting 218 off of him. Really a guy I just don't really want to attack at this point of the season. There's a lot riding on this game, on this series for both teams. Evaldi on the other side, 9.7K. I've been playing him all year long. He has looked pretty fantastic this season. Yankees, a team I don't mind taking pitching against. 26% strikeout rate here for Evaldi, 42% ground ball rate, 1.9% home run rate. So he's just not really giving up a lot of home runs. I like both pitchers in this spot. I think I'm going to stay away from the bats. They're expensive though, but both of these pitchers are expensive. DraftKings has done a really good job in this slate in general, pricing up a lot of these bats, pricing up a lot of these aces. So it is going to be a challenging slate. Don't get me wrong. I definitely, after doing the research in this one, don't feel too good about it. But there's definitely some spots we can go to. You could either fade this game. I don't mind taking both pitchers against each other. And this kind of feels like it's going to be one of those 3-2 type of games. So keep an eye on that one. Next one here, we have the Marlins taking on the Rays. Cabrera taking on Yarbrough. It looks like Robinson's going to be the opener. He's going to probably pitch just one inning, but we'll start with the Marlins side here. Cabrera, 6.2K, taking on the Rays. Don't feel too great about that. Cabrera, one of the highest home runs percentages allowed on this slate, 5.4%. So I really like some of these Rays bats, but 17.4% strikeout rate for Cabrera, walking a lot of guys here, 14% of the time. So on the other side, Yarbrough at 7.2. I don't feel good about that price. We don't really know how long he's going to go. He already has an opener in front of him. I know he's facing the Marlins, but he's only got an 18% strikeout rate here, 27% hard hit rate. So he's not really giving up a ton of hard contact, which is pretty interesting. 35% ground ball rate, 25% fly ball rate. Just a guy I don't really want to attack either, although he does have some bad games. 22 home runs allowed versus right-handed batters. So keep that in mind. But Marlins are kind of banged up. They got lefties with power, so I'm probably fading the Marlins. On the Rays side, Arozarena at 4.1K is probably my favorite bat to target. Margot at 2.9, Zunino 4.3, although I do prefer him against lefties. Diaz at 3.7. They have some of these guys that are kind of salary savers, specifically like Margot and stuff. But yeah, I like Arozarena there. So give you some Rays bats here. I don't think it's, my favorite stack, but they're definitely in the mix. Next, we have the White Sox taking on the Indians. Cease taking on Bieber. Cease at 9K, 32% strikeout rate here. He has been pitching very excellent. No one's really talking about him. Near 10% walk rate, but really hasn't been too much of an issue this season, even in DFS. A 32% fly ball rate. So he's just looked good. I don't see anything about his pitch count being limited or anything like that. And although the Indians have been hot, we'll get into that. Bieber on the other side, 11.3K, just coming off the IR. His strikeout rate has been elite, 34%. Should pitch around 75 pitches. So not really interested in paying 11.3K for a guy who might only go 3-4 innings, depending on how well he works the pitch counts. But Cease, I don't mind. Let's talk about the bats here. For the Indians are 20th overall in strikeouts this season, right? They don't really strike out a ton, but over the last 30 days or so, they are third in strikeouts. So they're striking out a ton, although they are getting on base, they are hitting home runs. So it's kind of a high variance situation. They have been really hot. So maybe that'll make Cease's ownership quite low. If that's the case, I don't mind getting to some Cease here. I don't mind potentially getting to some Indians bats here, but probably going to fade. I like Cease's ceiling here, especially on a 15-game slate where he might just go low owned. Not really interested in any White Sox bats here in general. Next, we have the Royals taking on the Tigers. Royals have Hernandez on the mound. Tigers have Mize on the mound. Hernandez at 5.5K, 21.6% strikeout rate here. The walks are a little bit high, 11%, but 28% fly ball rate here. So that's really nice to see. He had a bad game his last outing, but overall he's been pretty solid. He'll get anywhere from between 12 to maybe 25. And if we can get something between like 15 to 25 for that salary, I don't mind paying 5.5K. I like taking right-handers against the Tigers. So Hernandez is going to be in my player pool here. I think he's going to be somewhat popular because some of these aces are so expensive, and we really want to pay for some bats on the slate. Particularly, we got a Coors game to talk about, some of these, West Coast games to talk about. So Hernandez in the mix for sure. Mize on the other side at 6.1K, similar, in price, but he hasn't really pitched over 70 pitches since August 30th. That's pretty concerning. He is a rookie. They're probably limiting his pitch count. 19% strikeout rate here, 48% ground ball rate, which is nice. But opponents hitting 233 on the year against him. You really want the left-handed bats against Mize here. 253 batting average against, 16 home runs given up against lefties here. So Benintendi, by far my favorite bat on the slate. I think he's reasonably priced at 3.8K. Santana, you can take a flyer on. He's been really struggling, but he can take walks, but really he does have some power upside at 2.8. Isbell, if he is starting, 2.3K. Don't mind him here. But the bat I also really love is Mondesi. I want to get there somehow at 5.9K. I don't know if we're going to be able to get there. But yeah, it's going to be Mondesi. It's going to be Benintendi for me. And then on the other side with the Tigers, I think I'm just going to fade it. I'm not really too interested, regardless of Hernandez's ownership for the Royals. So next one here, we have the Cardinals and the Cubs. This one is going to be a double header. So it is going to be 7 innings. It looks like Flaherty will be back as well as Kim. I forget who might be the opener. I think Flaherty might be opening and then Kim's coming in after that. Regardless, I don't like the fact that they're sharing duties here and the prices are just kind of too high. Davies on the other side, 6.5K, leads the majors in walks, 73 walks on the season, 17% strikeout rate here, 11% walk rate. So don't really love that. Definitely a guy I would like to attack. However, it is a double header. And let's talk about these bats here, right? Arenado, 3.4K, Goldschmidt, 3.3K, O'Neill, 3.4K. All of these guys can hit home runs. I think the Cardinals could kind of run up the score here, even though it's 7 innings. I don't typically like to take any bats from 7-inning games, especially in a 15-game slate where there's so many other games to pivot to or go to. But they are away, so they're guaranteed 7 innings here, right? And just the fact is Davies isn't good. They're playing in Wrigley. I'm not really sure what the weather is going to be, but if I'm going to take anybody, it's going to be people in the beginning of the order here, because once that lineup turns over, at least those guys can get possibly that extra at bat. So Arenado, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, I like. I'm not going to go out of my way to play them, but if they somehow just kind of fall in, even if I just take one of them and hope for a home run, I don't mind it on this slate in particular. Cubs bats, not too interested here. Next, we have the Mets taking on the Brewers. McGill taking on Burns. McGill, 8.8K, has been pitching pretty well this season, 26.6% strikeout rate, 42.5% ground ball rate, good control, but gives up about a home run per game on average. Lefties really hit the ball well off of him, 315 batting average against, where most of the power comes from. So those lefties can hit home runs off of him. They can get on base. They can hit for average. Really like the lefties here. Brewers have Burns on the mound at 12.4K. That feels really, really expensive. I think he's going to go super low owns. The Mets aren't really a team I like to pick on either, but Burns himself, 35.5% strikeout rate, just one of the best pitchers in baseball, 50% ground ball rate, only giving up home runs 1% of the time, which is outrageous. I'm not taking any bats, that's for sure, on the Mets. I am interested in Burns, but I don't know if I can get there with that price. But as far as Brewers bats go, lefties definitely in play. I really like Escobar here. He's one of my favorite bats, possibly on this slate. 4.2K. He hits a little bit better from the left side of the plate. Really like that. Everything kind of lines up well. They're playing at home. Narvaez, if he's starting at 4.1K, locks up the catcher spot there. Wong, 3.2. Yeah, I wrote Yelich's name in there, 3.9K. He's really been struggling. When I make Brewer stacks or lineups, I kind of have been avoiding him. I mean, he can be due at any time, right? But just some of these bats in play, at least the lefties for sure. Yeah, so a 3-man stack would be pretty nice here with those lefties. Next one here, we have the Giants taking on the Rockies in Coors. Love the Giants in this one. Let's talk about it. Wood taking on Lambert. Wood 8.4K, 25.6% strikeout rate here, 50% ground ball rate. He is in Coors. I don't trust Wood in this spot, even though it's, he is pitching against the Rockies. The Rockies play very well at home, as we know. Likely a limited pitch count because he was coming off the COVID list. He already made one start, but he only pitched, I think, 3 innings. So I'm staying away from Wood here. Lambert on the other side at 4.9K. He is coming off some rehab starts in AAA. Pitched in 2019. Only had a 13.6% strikeout rate here. 321 batting average against, just on average. So I love the Giants. I've been playing them all year long. They've been so damn good, and quite frankly, a lot of times they've been under-owned. It is a 15-game slate, so yes, you don't really have to worry as much about chalk or ownership as much. But Crawford, Belt, Wade, Yastrzemski, La Stella, I love all of those guys. I really love the left-handed bats here. And I also like Posey. He should be starting at 5.2K. There's just so much potential here for the Giants. And as much as I try to fade Coors at times, like we've already talked about most of these games so far up to this point, I'm kind of fading a lot of this and probably just backloading. And then on the other side with the Rockies, I think some of these prices are pretty nice. Hilliard has some power here at 2.3K, Hampson at 2.7. Wood doesn't give up a ton of home runs here, but he's not going to last very long. Granted, the Giants bullpen is actually decent, but like we said, they're in Coors. Tapia, Crone, very, very, very underpriced here. So I don't mind maybe even a little game stack action going on. Next, we have the Blue Jays taking on the Twins. Barrios taking on Ober. Barrios 9.5K. I don't feel too comfortable about the price. I don't really like to pick on the Twins either, but maybe a little revenge game narrative here for Barrios. 25% strikeout rate here. I think that's fine. It's not like mind blowing. It's not going to just, I don't know. 23% fly ball rate, 41% hard contact. He does struggle against left-handed batters. That is something to note here. Ober on the other side, 6.7K, gives up a lot of home runs so far this season, 5.3% home run percentage. So that's quite up there as one of the tops on the slate. 25% strikeout rate, 34% fly ball rate, 33% ground ball rate. So I'm not interested in him. I don't mind the Blue Jays bats. I think they're, clearly one of the best offenses in baseball. I think they're always in play if you want to play them. Guerrero at 6'2", Semien 5'5", Bichette 5'4". Yes, those three are very expensive. A great way to offset that are guys like Gurriel at 3.3K, who I think is probably 1K underpriced. Dickerson, if he makes the lineup, I don't love the play here, but Ober struggling a little bit more against lefties. Dickerson at 2.6K could be a nice little flyer there if you are stacking. I wouldn't take him as just a one-off. And then on the other side with the Twins, Kepler at 3.8K, the lefty there against Barrios. Remember, Barrios struggles against lefties. I love Kepler's power here. He has double dong upside. Next one up, Mariners taking on the Angels. Gilbert taking on Suarez. Gilbert, 6.4K. I think he's super cheap. I don't know why he's priced this low. Really, really nice matchup for him. 26.3% strikeout rate, 44.5% hard hit contact, 32% ground ball rate. Pitch count has been great. It's been in the high 90s. I have no worries about his pitch count being limited. I haven't seen anything yet. Suarez on the other side, 6.3K, similarly priced. Yes, I'd rather take Gilbert here, but let's talk about Suarez, right? 21% strikeout rate, not great, but not priced high. Good ground ball guy, 48% ground balls here. Hard hit rate, only 35%. So he's getting a lot of soft contact. I think he's a nice dart throw in GPP contests. The Mariners are 28th in batting average against left-handed pitching all season long. They have been hitting a little bit better as of late against lefties, but I think that they're just kind of in a tough spot here. They need to win this game, but yeah, they've been struggling against lefties. On the other side with the Angels, I don't mind Ohtani. I think he's going to go super low owned at 5.7K, but that is it for the Angels. Next one, Dodgers taking on the D-backs. Gonsolin on the mound taking on Castellanos. Gonsolin 7.8K, the cat man, the cat lover himself, 26.4% strikeout rate here, which is pretty decent, but the guy walks too many guys, 16% walk rate, and I don't care who he's playing. That's just too high for me to feel comfortable with. He hasn't really had this, proven track record. So pass for him. Castellanos 5.3K. Don't like him against the Dodgers. 16% strikeout rate here. Doesn't really get hard hit a lot. 41% ground ball rate. But the fact of the matter is he probably won't go more than 4 or 5 innings. And then that bullpen for the Diamondbacks is terrible, so I don't mind taking bats against them. Lux is wildly underpriced here at 2.7K. My favorite bat on the Dodgers because of price and upside. Seager at 4.8, been riding that 4.8, 4.6 kind of price tag for lately. Pollock is back at 3.9. He might not play, but if he's in there, I think he's a decent play. Smith at 4.8K at catcher. I think, he's been mashing home runs. So I like those guys. You definitely can pay up for the Dodgers in this spot, but I like the value guys a lot here too, just to get a little bit different. But yeah, Muncy, Turner, all those guys. Bets, I think they're in play for sure. Don't get me wrong. On the Diamondback side, it's a big slate. If they beat me, they beat me, but I just can't see the Diamondbacks just crushing here. So next we have the Astros and the A's. Big game here. Greinke taking on Montas. Greinke 7K, 17% strikeout rate here, 44.7% ground ball rate. That's kind of surprised me a little bit. 24% fly ball rate, but however, does give up some home runs here, 4.2% home run rate over the years. So hasn't been bad, but hasn't really had the upside that we've seen in the past. He's getting older. Montas on the other side, 10.6K, feels kind of expensive, right? He has been pitching really well. Don't get me wrong. I just don't love the matchup against the Astros. I don't really want to take any pitches against them. 174 innings for Montas this season. His career high before the season was 96 in 2019. Remember, last year was a shortened season, but he got nowhere close to the number he's at right now. And the A's want to make the playoffs. So I don't know how long they're going to let him go. I think he's pitched well recently, right to this point, at least since July. He's been really excellent, but matchup's tough, price is tough. I'm probably off of him. I'm definitely off of Greinke. I don't really care for the bats in this one either, to be quite frank. I think righties are the bats you want to take against Greinke, so I don't mind Chapman at 4K, but probably not going to play it. Olsen at 5.1 feels a little cheap, feels a little dirty. So if you want to ride that, I think he's going to go super under-owned here in this spot. I know he's a lefty, but definitely always in play. Next, we have the Braves and the Padres, the final of the 15. Thank you for watching. This has been a tough one to grind through. I'll tell you that much. So tomorrow's going to be very, very interesting. Fried taking on Crismatt and Johnson. Fried 9.2K. That to me feels a little bit expensive. I don't like the matchup. I don't mind taking pitchers against the Padres, but I don't prefer to. 24% strikeout rate here. He's just been kind of consistent all year long. 49% ground ball rate. Really does a good job limiting the fly balls at 21%. Not really a guy I want to attack as far as like bats go. So I'm probably off of the Padres. But on the other side, Crismatt at 9.2K. Not sure why he's priced up that high. I think that's just a DraftKings goof. Johnson at 6K, no thanks. So this is definitely a bullpen game. The bullpen has been great all season long, so that is worth noting. But however, they are really struggling over the last month or so. Category they're kind of top 5 in a lot of these categories as far as pitching metrics go. But as of late, 12th in home runs allowed, 24th in batting average allowed just over the last month or so. So I could get to some Braves here. I don't mind that as like a late night hammer if that is your thing. Riley, 4.8K, definitely my favorite bat here. Duvall, I know he left the game the other day, but his legs were tired or something, but he should be back. They already said he was going to play at 4.5K. Albies 5.3, Freeman 5.8. Sure, can't go wrong there. I think it's going to be hard to get there price wise with all of the wildly inconsistent pricing on the slate. Soler at 3.7. I can't see the Braves being too popular here. Typically, I don't like to play against bullpens here, but I think the Padres are just kind of tired and exhausted. So I don't mind some Braves here. So that is it. That'll do it. My name is Tim Williams. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment below. Let's chat. Let's talk some baseball. Make sure to hit that like button. It really helps me out a ton. I will definitely be planning on having some more future content coming up. I know football is going on right now. Hockey and basketball is coming up. So that is it. Appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. Good luck in your contest. Peace. Take it easy.